World Trade Center, Chinatown, Battery Park for the Statue of Liberty Ferry and Brooklyn tours and all that. Section of 7th Avenue here are the Carnegie Deli here, coming up on our right-hand side, the world's best deli named after Carnegie Hall. And one block down further, we'll see it coming up on our right-hand side, is the Stage Deli. And there's plenty of other not so famous delis on this section of 7th Avenue as well. The Rockettes don't do regular performances there anymore, though. They only do the Christmas and Easter shows. You'll notice which buildings are a part of Rockefeller Center. There's 19 of them. They have these flags outside of them that say Rockefeller Center. And originally Rockefeller Center was going to be strictly office buildings. After the stock market crashed in 1929, they decided to put in all these great shops and restaurants. And this next section of Rockefeller Center we'll see right close by our stop. This area is where they have the outdoor cafe in the spring and the summer months. In the winter, in this area is where they're going to put out the ice skating rink and the Christmas tree.
That's the Christmas tree.
Straight ahead of us and to our left here is the front of St. Patrick's Cathedral. Straight ahead of us and to our right there is Saxon. You'll find the TKTS booth where you can get the half-price theater tickets for on and off Broadway shows. For the same day showing only, the TKTS will open up at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And we'll... True love story. There are 40 legitimate Broadway theaters here in the Times Square area. Broadway theaters are defined by the number of seats in their theater, not by their location. You'll notice that many Broadway shows itself. Coming up on our left-hand side there at the Winter Garden Theater is Cats, the longest running Broadway show since 1982. Also coming up on our left-hand side here is Caroline's Comedy Club. Many great comedians like Jerry Seinfeld and Jay Leno got their starts here at Caroline's Comedy Club. Next to Caroline's Comedy Club is Comedy Nation Bar and Restaurant. Also, if you look straight at you and to your right down there, you see that building with the blue map of the world on it and the orange letters and numbers going across it, giving us quotes. So if you have any investments, you can check up on them now. To our left there is the TKTS booth where you can get half-price theater tickets for on and off Broadway shows. For the same day showing only, the TKTS will open up at 3 o'clock this afternoon, though. It's not open yet. They have one in the World Trade Center also. is showing at the New Amsterdam. There's a lot of neat theatrical productions geared towards children here on New 42nd Street. And here is our stop at our ticket office at 41st Street and 7th Avenue. Earlier in 1929. The cars are built for a fee of $7. You can also take a skyway up there, a motion simulated ride that goes around Scotland. I don't know what to do with this thing anymore. 5th Avenue here on our right, the front of the Empire State Building. Tower, the Shearson Lehman Brothers, the Dow Jones News Program, the comics or the Commodities Exchange, our U.S. Custom House. You'll even find a TKTS booth like the one we saw in Times.
Nimm dich mal da, jetzt wird der Knopf. Das ist doch festgehalten. Kommt zwar nicht weiter, aber dann hast du keine Füße. Okay. Ja. Okay.
Muy bien. Vamos a hacer la foto. Con una escola.
On the top floor, Kirk Douglas. Arthur Murray lived down this block. He started his first dance studio here, Arthur Murray. Now down on Elder Street, my Uncle Greg's had the tail and the old Colwell fence. On the lower east side of the park, George Burns and George. And there's that house right up there. The only private house in Manhattan now. That was fancy, the roof going back. I used to sleep up there on Sunday night or on the fire escape. And we didn't have the air conditioning days. The only air conditioning guy we went to a movie theater. But the fire escape was great to sleep on Sunday night. I also try to do my homework, get my suntan on the roof there.
His daughter, we're going to tell you what he had to say and get reaction as well.
Also coming up, sex after 60. It happens more than you may think, and people want even more. We'll tell you about that after your local news.
Some McGuire.
I'm Emmett Smith's sister.
Wow. Really?
Can you believe it?
Go back and forth because it's a 5-game series. So I think they're starting off in Cleveland and New York, Atlanta and Houston.
And how many games have
So 5 games. Yeah, this first series is 5 games. So that's the first team with 3 wins. And then when we get further, we go to the 7-game series. The American League of National Championships and across the world.
She has high heels on today too. Do you want a tape?
Oh yeah, I'm alright.
Matt, as long as it's all about me, then we're all happy. You always say, who can we see that's working early in the morning? Matt, how important is it, since the show is based in New York, to actually do some shooting here? Is it kind of just fun for the crew, or is it important to the actual product?
Certainly, in these 2 episodes, it's important to the product.
That always, I guess, attracted me to the show in the first place was the idea that a marriage, a relationship in year 1 is very different than in year 7.
Even as we speak.
Also, we'll get the latest on a fashion trend that's causing controversy in one town in Louisiana. We'll tell you what it is and why the police are fighting. Yeah, well, it takes only 30 minutes to prepare.
All right, and then a nice guy, Cuba Gooding Jr. will stop by in our last half hour. He'll tell us about his new movie. He stars opposite Robin Williams in What Dreams May Come. And Mr. Roker says,
I find it a very interesting movie. It raises a lot of interesting questions. And it fucks you.
that's too long for the marquee. You have to trim that down a little bit.
It's okay.
Okay, there you go.
Good morning once again, everybody. It is mighty wet in the deep south this morning. Tropical storm George is now dumping moisture on Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Rain is coming down at rates as high as 3 inches per hour. But the Gulf Coast can be thankful for one thing. For the most part, the wind has died down. NBC's Bob Dodson joins us now from Gulfport, Mississippi with more on this. Bob, good morning.
Windows sucked into frame. A filling station that fell on cars pulled in for repairs. George has blocked over the Gulf Coast so long, this man's deck is now his dock. The surging sea and
Colorado has not commented on some big criticisms of John Ramsey's father. In a letter back to news organizations, John Ramsey says the investigation of his daughter's murder has been placed in the hands of the unskilled and the unknown. Ramsey and his wife Patricia have been under the authorities call an umbrella of suspicion since the December 1996
Everybody say hi, Carl!
You got more hands. I'll ship you some ribs.
Whoa, ribs!
Yes, Pat Daly's a friend of mine.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, yes.
Great ribs.
Yes,
Did you ship?
yes, I'll send you some
You
of
know what?
those.
Hey, Richard, better than Rendezvous. That's a Neely Brothers. The Neely Brothers ribs. Hi, how are you? Hello, from Carson, California. Johnny Carson. Hello. 180 times Zoom? Is that a little close? How are you? I mean, what the hell do you have to get that close to anything? That's called a microscope. Hi, how are you? Good morning. Hello. How are you? Bristol bun. How are you? How are you? Carson, California. Where's Carson? Wow.
Sorry, how to bake bread in 30 minutes. Doesn't that sound like an activity? Eat your heart out.
Also coming up, Cuba Gooding Jr. is going to be here. He's going to tell us about a new movie he's in. It is called What Dreams May Come. It's got about Robert Williams and how representing Mexico. That's good enough for you.
Also, Willard Scott is
We've had a lot too much to eat already.
Yes, talk to people.
The only borough we will not see on this tour is about 9 miles north behind us. Now, as we head down the Pacific Day, like January, for example, the winds are very high. Towns of blue towers and gradually split in winter gardens. Very easy to get to by many of our local subways. Now, these buildings are the first Europeans to settle. They were the Dutch. They settled here entering the city or after New York, Charles II's brother. Photographs, 800 personal items and artifacts, and 24 documentary films. Right in the middle of it, you look to the right of the building, a very tiny white building that had windows. Broadway and across the Lord Building is City Hall. Broadway is the longest running street in the United States. Now, before that, it used to be one of New York City's best bargains. 50 cents you could enjoy a third ride to the first Staten Island back. Now it's even better than a bargain. So it's well worth hopping on. We're visiting Lower Manhattan and visiting the borough of Staten Island and enjoying the views of the New York Harbor. The second question of beige buildings was right. Wall Street got its name from a big blue wall. Back in 1653, the Dutch settlers were fearful of the invading the advisable British going to take over their town. And the town bordered a little 20-foot high wooden wall stretching from the Hudson River over to the East River. But the wall didn't work very well, so eventually the British did invade, and the wall was completely torn down by 1699. You cannot see the New York Stock Exchange from here because it's actually on Broad Street, not Wall Street. But if you keep looking up to the top of those tall buildings along Wall Street, you'll see Trinity Church way at the end of Wall Street on Broadway. At one time, Trinity Church was the tallest building in New York City. These two high-closed piers are in the... And we're about to head underneath the famous Brooklyn Bridge. This is the oldest of the Brooklyn bridges. It took over 14 years to construct. So we like to head over this bridge to Manhattan from Brooklyn. Just heading over to Canal Street to Chinatown. Windy that day, a gust of wind blew her right back up. And that is a true story. Can you imagine what a bad day you're having when you can't even kill yourself? Needless to say, you should never try that again. There is a big fence now on the 86th floor, makes it impossible to jump. One of the headlines actually read the next day, miracle on 30. Also coming up on our left, if you look just past this, one of our beautiful skyscrapers that grace our skyline, and that is the Chrysler Building. When completed back in 1930, the Chrysler Building was the tallest in the 197-foot stainless steel spire. It's supposed to resemble, in fact, there's several other references to the Chrysler automobile within its architecture. Well worth walking past on 42nd Street and Lexington Avenue. It's 3 short blocks away from the United Nations complex, which is on the waterfront. It's a beige and green glass complex. The United Nations was built on a land donated by John T. Rockefeller Jr. If you look closely on the upper level of the bridge, you might see people walking over. And walk up to her ground, there's 354 winding steps. It's
Sprichst du Englisch?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Probably nothing.
Empire State Building.
That's the Crown State's final and plus the Empire State.
Yeah, it's Empire State Building. And that's the Chrysler Building. Right. That's so the perspective really throws you off. Things are so close.
Might have been quick and close by. Sometimes.
Wherever you go in this wondrous city, whether atop the World Trade Center or window shopping where you'll remember it forever. In just a few moments, New York like you've never seen it before.
We're passing it here. Just keep going to your right here, you'll see the Williamsburg Bridge there. Also carries subway trains and trucks. That's where I grew up, right on the other side of the bridge. Our property donated by the Rockefellers. The tall building there is the Secretariat building. And a shorter building with the round dome will be coming up on is the General Assembly building. You see the flags of all nations arrayed here in front of the United Nations. They're all in alphabetical order, all the way from Albania down to Zambia. Anybody getting off in the United Nations? No. You are? No.
Sound of the New York City Voice Exchange. For Broadway shows. You have to come here the same day of the performance you want to watch. This is 38 Broadway theaters. Aside from that, there's off-Broadway. To our right is the famous Marriott Marquis. that we just did. Where the New York Rangers. 33rd Street, which we are on, is a great shopping place. In the late 19th century, they were trying to raise some money to renovate the statue of Manhattan. Very youthful, many nightclubs, many bars. Good shopping. Between towers and
that building. Yeah, they put that one right.
Those of you standing on the starboard or right hand, in just a few moments, we'll be passing, of course, the highlight of any sailing or arrival into New York.
Zo open, zo beschreven. Bist du zurückgeblieben, wir mal noch da, oder? Da ist nämlich jetzt weg.
Yep.
We were just saying on the roof. That was the old intrepid copper. Put that building. Yeah, they put that one right.
Those of you standing on the starboard or right hand, just a few moments, we'll be passing, of course, the highlight of any sailing or arrival into New York.
Zo oben zo geschreven. Vissa folk blir man målat av och de är med svett.
We're going to stop up here by the store and you can walk back to the bridge, okay?
Your peak solar exposure, but as you get along to the west, if they were developing it in the north, it wouldn't be nearly so much of an impact. But here, the shadows would be cast quite long, certainly in the early part of the spring and into the fall. So that probably would have quite a deadly effect on the trees, requiring that sunlight. Not a whole lot of activity there, of course. Just over there we have the SO refinery, the only refinery remaining. There was a smaller one to the south of it. It's since been chopped up and shipped out to Saudi Arabia. Indicating the location of the museum. There are 2 ships generally there, and of course a number of other ships. Canadian warships often drop in for a day. What they do is they get up on one of the battlements and just have a lens going below there. Fee actually to get on, but there is a donations chest just inside. And usually they've got, and for those of you interested in metal bits and pieces, anchors, we've got a tremendous selection here. Whatever you
can see it right here. And his wife's name's on it as well. And she has name as well. So it's inside. His wife right there. Something else though, this thing. And they do. He started. I believe he died 6, 7 years into it. Oh, that's a.
Oh, okay.
Where is he going?
Did you get it?
Yes.
And they used to make a little hole in the slot on a 45-degree angle, and this one on a 90-degree. Right. So the more ashes they would make, it would come a sheet of a ball of fire. Oh. So they would blow on it, you put the wood dust in the bark, and the moss too. And this is the tibia de moose, the bone, right here.
Okay, yeah. Oh.
So it had already a little hole in it, like carved. So the more you use it, it makes the hole bigger. This is dogwood. Dogwood and moose rib. Moose rib. And this is seal skin. Okay, like the shiny part goes in the bone. The dull part goes in the wood. So when you used to make a fire, there was always two used to make it.
Oh, wow. Yes. Oh, my goodness.
You see the ashes there? The more ashes it would make, like the more you do it, the more it's dry, the better it is.
feel part of every mountain central. You can hear.
Talent involved in this show here. The Davis Theater used to be run by Howard Hughes, if you remember the RKO studios. He was working here in this building on the right-hand side. And these are the entertainment crossroads of the world for you right here. This is Hollywood Boulevard and Vine Street. Over your left-hand shoulder, the old Taft building. All the agencies used to be located for actors and actresses. CBS radio building was kitty corner to your left. Liberty, they will get a TV set in there for movie people, a movie camera, a radio microphone, theater mask, and for recording music, a record. And there's, of course, guys that do different things over their career. The only gentleman with all 5 stars on the Walk of Fame, all 5 different categories, Gene Autry. Oh, there's even been people down there proposing to the girlfriends and stuff like that again. Movies down here, actually, with no exceptions, including A Bug's Life. It's coming out any day now. As you can see on the big sign up here. Walk a court area there on your right-hand side. We're just going to pull up the street here so you have a chance to walk.
Be sure to ask about our other exciting tours to Disneyland, Universal. Starline Tours is proud to present the original Stars Home Tour of Hollywood and the original Stars Home Tour of Hollywood and Beverly Hills, along with books about the theater and other souvenirs. The next Starline Hollywood, Beverly Hills, and over 50 of the most famous homes welcoming you to Man's Chinese Theater. Starline Tours is proud to be of the most famous homes in the world. Enjoy your day in Hollywood. Starline Tours, welcoming you to Man's Chinese Theater. You got everything in there. Starline Tours is proud to present the original Starline Tour of Farm, San Diego, and our grand tour of Los Angeles, Hollywood.
Inside, look at that little baby. $30 million worth. There's going to be another low shoulder there sitting on top of there. Look at that. I think I could live out there even without helicopter pads. It wouldn't be too hard. John Belushi died 1982, overdose of drugs, room no bungalow number 6. He was not in the main hotel. On the right-hand side of the black Lincoln is pulling out there. Chateau Marmont. It's Billy Crystal, Steve Martin, David Letterman, Johnny Carson, Arsenio Hall, Whoopi Goldberg, Eddie Murphy, Louis Anderson, Jim Carrey, Jerry Seinfeld. All been performing here at one time or the other. Big time stand-up comedy plays. That'd be Howie Mandel and a few others. It's been around here for a few. Evening gowns, designer stores. This is where they had scenes from the movie. John Travolta, Gene Hackman, Get Shorty. Oh, you can look at the cars here now. Mercedes-Benz's, BMWs. This is where the in-crowd do lunch, as they so beautifully call it. This is where you rub shoulders or elbows, I should say, a little bit, and talk business. Sunset Plaza for you. There's another Marilyn Monroe location for you down here. There's a single cab car parked on your left-hand side outside Mirabelle. This is where Norma Jean used to work as a waitress before she got known as Marilyn Monroe. Getting speed down here. By Me, on Private Idaho, Young Indiana Jones. A few other flicks. He collapsed on the sidewalk up here. Died on the way to the hospital eventually. It's on your left-hand side up here surrounding that liquor store. Viper Room. This is where he, black awning that comes over Sunset Boulevard there on the sidewalk. That's where he fell down. It's owned by Johnny Depp. You remember Edward Scissorhand? 21 Jump Street guy, Benny and June. What's eating Gilbert Gray trucks here? Little brick wall there to your right with the payphones. Where Marilyn Monroe met up with Joe DiMaggio. Remember that talked about marriage? The right-hand side down the hill here, you can see the city sign. Brown sign, golden letters in it. Sits on your right-hand side down here. All the cars are backed up and parked now buying star maps. Please notice the much smoother ride we got all of a sudden as well. Ooh. Home's very well protected up here. Big walls, trees, fences, razor sharp barbed wire, video cameras, electrified gates. Take no chances these days. A lot of stalkers and strange folks around. Corner over to your right. It's a little black gate here at the crossroads. Look up the driveway there to your right. It's Phil Collins' estate for you. Barely visible up there these days. He lives in Switzerland too, I believe. Arrangements. Look up to your right-hand side here. Barbara Eden. You guys remember Barbara? Right here. Barbara Eden. You guys remember Barbara? I Dream of a Hedge surrounding the whole house. It's sort of a light peach color to it there, pink. It's on your left-hand side there, Mr. Maxwell Smart, Don Adams behind the hedge for you. The Sultan of Brunei these days. Paid $325 million for this building here on your right-hand side. Renovated it inside and out for $125 million a couple years ago. Big palace up to your right down there.
George Michael.
Yeah, what they charge is now lewd conduct. A lot of people don't know about his first marriage. It lasted only for about a year when he was a teenager out of high school, basically. Left-hand side, second lady now has been married to for 40 years. Paul Newman. Joanne Woodworth, the brick building to your left with the hanging birch trees right here. He's a permanent resident, though, of Connecticut over on the East Coast. This will be a little work residence for him here. You can see him in this 907 Whittier. There's his caretaker. Old home of Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson. Moved in here as newlyweds. Got divorced, she moved out. Got remarried, she moved back in. Got divorced, she moved back out. A lot of U-Haul trucks here for a while. There's a Frankie home up to your right, present. Lived in here for 2 years, divorced, she cut off all her hair. She lost her mother recently, by the way, Maureen O'Sullivan. If you remember, she was the original Jane in all the Tarzan movies. Big controversy in those days because she had that bikini outfit on. A lot of skin she showed in those. Jagger, between 75 and 83, lead singer of the Stones, moved out on request from his next-door neighbors, complaining about rowdy parties in the backyard. Get a friend like Keith Richards, you know, you're bound to run into some trouble sooner or later. Well, they say now if you have a nuclear holocaust, there'll be 2 things surviving, cockroaches and Keith Richards. Moved to Palm Springs eventually, started up a couple of restaurants, ran for mayor, won that position, ran for Congress, won that position. Actually started out as a truck driver and ended up as a U.S. congressman. Quite an accomplishment there. See if we can't sneak a peek here of this big estate. It's on your right-hand side here with the gates open. Elvis Aaron Presley. There's the cop. Actually, there's a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Bikes parked back here. I don't know if this guy actually lives up here today. Priscilla still, Lisa Marie still owns the place up here, but rents it out or leases it out there. Supposedly it goes for $12,000 a month. It's not the most affordable estate up here, so to speak. We have kept an eye on the property back here. Paramount Pictures used it for a couple of Cheers episodes when Sam Malone went to Italy. Remake of a movie called Sabrina with Harrison Ford, Greg Kinnear, and Julie Armand. Lived in today by Babyface, composer, entertainer. He wrote the entire music score for Waiting to Exhale. You've seen the movie there. Good friends of Whitney Houston and C. Jones. Won quite a few Grammys over the years as well. Get a lot of idea about real estate values out here, by the way. 3 important things when you sell real estate in these surroundings here. Location, location, location. Is, I believe, 245 Carrollwood Drive. This is where Lonnie Anderson and Burt Reynolds used to live. They got $6 million for this house on your left-hand side here. Lonnie Anderson was the nicest girl to run into. Always waved and smiled to people. Now, Burt Reynolds used to have a little sign language for us up here when we drove by. Didn't like tour buses too much. It was not the peace sign exactly, if you know what I'm saying. Art collector, left-hand side. This guy made his money out of selling Toyota cars. First Toyota dealer in the neighborhood. I don't know, I think his name is Mr. Brunette or Burnett or something like that. Brunette, I think it is. Video cameras up here to keep an eye on the property underneath the roof. This is a private gallery next door neighbor. I love the mailbox though. What do you guys think? Look down to your left here, shake this little hand with amphibian creatures crawling all around. Maybe it's the thing from the Addams family. Property for sale. 3 homes on the same land down here, 6.5 acres of land. There's the real estate guy you need to call if you want to buy the house. Red Sands. Don't know what the price is. It's probably hard to sell. It's been on the market for over 1.5 years now. It's owned by Barbara Streisand. She doesn't need the money exactly. It will be a tax write-off for her. She lives up in Malibu Canyon these days, where she got married as well a few months back. 301 Carrollwood Drive. This is where she has her own private concert. A few years ago, some 2,000 people invited inside the estate here. Got a little koi fish pond with geese and swans down here, I remember. Like a little zoo. There's another Frankie home for you on your right. When he moved from Hoboken, New Jersey. Settled down here with his newly born Nancy Sinatra, then his little daughter. These boots are made for walking, I think was a big hit. Clark Gable used to live up to your left with his 4th wife. Got married a 5th time. His 5th wife married him next to his 3rd wife, Carol Lombard. Died in an airplane accident. Here's a guy that seldom paid for lunch and dinner. Guess who I got away with that? Well, being a celebrity helped out, of course, but he always paid by check in the restaurant. When they saw the check with Clark Gable's autograph on it, they never cashed it. Framed it, kept it as a souvenir, you know, things like that. Now look at the little pedestrian gate there on your left-hand side. You see the little entrance there to your right? Look at the circles there next to the handle of the knob. See what's inside those circles? If you get the right background, there's a little silhouette of Mickey Mouse. Ears pointing down. Can you make it out?
Oh, yeah.
This is the Walt Disney estate for you there to your left. Sold a few months ago by Roy Disney Jr., the nephew of the nephew of Walt Disney and the son of Roy E. Disney. Yeah, speaking voices in the movie industry. Here's his 2 hobbies. If you look up the little grassy knoll, there's his rose garden, and look at the windows up there of the glass patio area. See those little pieces of paper taped up there? That's probably his oil paintings or watercolor paintings up here. Mr. Gregory Peck. He won an Oscar years ago, as you might remember, for To Kill a Mockingbird. Lovely voice. And he's born and raised in Beverly Hills, actually. Not as wealthy though, when he was a kid, exactly. 391 Left-hand side, Rod Stewart, Rachel Hunter's old home. New Zealand girl now, and they, what is he, Scottish? Well, they moved to Mulholland Drive as a little private residential community up there. That's when they had their second child. They moved out of the neighborhood. Look on top of the fence here, though. That was Rod Stewart's idea. Razor sharp barbed wire. Barely see it now. The hedge is growing on top of it. I think you put the barbed wire up there to keep his wife inside. Always well kept with flowers. I like to break this on up here. That's a bragging object, by the way. Get brick around your house. You have to be specially reinforced. Special contractors' house insurance will skyrocket. It all has to do with earthquakes. Brick doesn't fare very well when it starts to rock and roll a little bit. That was noticeable in Australia a few years ago, wasn't it? Newcastle? There's Lieutenant Columber's house to your left, Peter Falk. Got rid of his old Peugeot, as you remember. He drove around that French convertible junker. Dresses just like his character in real life, though. Very sloppy looking. Peter Falk. Next door neighbor used to be to a great comedian, Jack Benny. Benny, they always joked about how stingy and cheap he was. He lived in this house here with Mary Livingstone. People said in real life he actually installed 2 payphones in his house for his guests to use that would run up the phone bill for him. Lucy and Desi was next door neighbor. Lucy a ball and Desi Arness. I can still hear Desi walking in the front door there with his favorite line going, "Now Lucy, you got some splaining to do." Cuban born actually, and it was the drug rehab clinic, that building today, by the way. Jerry Dorsey, that's his real name. You know him all as Engelbert Humperdinck. He lives here on your left-hand side. Somebody had a paint sale, I guess. Gosh, that's pink. Engelbert, he's still a bit hot name out there in Vegas, along with Tom Jones. Security guards are pretty quick up here. There's the intercom right in the rock. See a little speaker there? The fake rock. There's the video camera to keep an eye on you there on your left-hand side. This is the entrance to the Playboy Mansion. And remember the address there, 10236. You're going to find it again at the kitchen door, which is around the block up here. Hugh Hefner doesn't own the building up here. It's owned by the magazine, actually. I guess it's a tax write-off a little bit. But you can see it way up there to your left. There it is, Tudor style. Looks like a big English country mansion, doesn't it? Hugh Hefner for you up there. A couple of movies up there you might have seen. Beverly Hills Cop, Eddie Murphy, the second one. Running around with the Playboy bunnies in the backyard there playing volleyball. And Will Smith's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air had some episodes up there too. Here's Christine Hefner's backyard. This is her swimming pool, this big cement structure here on your left-hand side. You're going to see Christine Hefner's home from the front eventually, entirely built out of Italian marble. She runs the magazine today officially. He has stepped down. Hugh Hefner retired. We can't see it from here. Is a, what do you call it? Dragon. So that would be St. George up there, I guess, the dragon slayer. Right, and shining on the boy up there. Somebody had a little bit too much money. 8 times. Alimony checks caught up with him a couple of years ago. He almost had to file bankruptcy. Friends, family, and agents helped him out here to get him back on his feet, at least so he could keep his house up here. Here's the front of Christine Hefner's house. What do you guys think on your left-hand side? She named the place La Villa Consolata. Look at this. Look at the main entrance up here, open all the way up to the ceiling inside the foyer of the Bobby right there. That's where they stick a 50-foot Christmas tree in the holidays. I think this might be the only city around we actually have a market for 50-foot Christmas trees up. They even deliver it to your house on a satellite dishes as well. I think you could bring down BBC signals with those. Fills down here on your left curb there. There's the same address again for you, 10236. Gates are open. Security guard shack is right inside the entrance here though, so we're not going to go for it. Straight ahead of you, Mr. Arabelli, TV producer of Beverly Hills 90210, Melrose Place, Charlie's Angels, Dynasty, The Hotel, This goes on and on and on. And there's only 3 people living in the house these days. Him, his wife, and his son. 41 rooms per person. Why did Tori Spelling move out? If I had a father with a 123-bedroom house, I'll never leave my parents. Look at this. This is not a house. This is a hotel. Gosh. You know, even the neighbors are complaining back here. It's blocking the sun in the late afternoon hours. Aaron Spelling for you right there. And that's 2,000 square foot walk-in closet, bowling alley, and all these things. Those beans were actually spilled by Tori Spelling when she moved out. The one thing she was going to miss of the old house, she grew up right-hand side there, straight ahead of you. Used to be owned by Columbia Pictures. One of their executives, when he retired, took the house. There was a movie set in the backyard of Columbia Pictures and brought it down here. Moved up in that movie Clueless with Alicia Silverstone. She walked by the house here with some big shopping bags and stuff. And shoulder there with a dog. He has a TV show after David Letterman's called The Late Late Show there. Semi-celebrity, I guess. There's the Bugsy home. Its original iron cast door is still sitting up there. Look at that. He was afraid they were going to shoot him through the door instead of shot him through the living room windows. Should have bulletproof glass instead. Very paranoid, by the way, Bug. Look down on your left-hand side here by the black Infiniti or BMW standing. Look at the lady there by the sidewalk picking up the morning paper. Somebody has a cool little statue down here. She's fading in color though a little bit. She first came up a couple of years ago. I definitely thought it was the real thing there for a while. Got me a little nervous. Yeah, Midler ran around this house here on your left-hand side. Little Richard was in the front yard of one scene of the movie hollering and screaming at the police department. Street on your right-hand side here at the White Home. Black shutters in front of the windows. Lana Turner was known as Newton. They win an Oscar for Sergeant York. My name is Mr. John Doe. Was Gene Kelly's old home on your right-hand side, a little white picket fence. The guy that was singing and dancing in the rain, if you remember him. He's lived in Palm Springs for a little while. The drive, though, it's on your left-hand side, a little square home. That's usually a black Jaguar driveway. And to today, though, there it is on your left. Eddie's home for you. Next door neighbor, here's a weird thing. Look at that bay window there on your right-hand side of the main entrance of the house. Is that weird or what? Who owns the dog? Oh, you know, if you expect Herman the Monster or something. Some practical reason to be there. Big dentist office. I have no clue whatsoever who lives down here, though, but it's on your right-hand side. Looks like a big psychedelic bad acid trip or something like that. Came up in the late 60s, early 70s. They might explain it, actually. Also, look at the chimneys up there on top of the building. They're all shaped as mushrooms. Does that tell you what that guy was eating a little bit too much of, maybe, when he just keep an eye on it while you go shopping? Straight ahead of you down here at the very end of the street, that multi-story building down there is the Pretty Woman Hotel. Regent Beverly Wilshire Hotel. Gorgeous looking restrooms, by the way. There's Bull Meaches to your right-hand side, a little brick wall where Julia Roberts was refused shopping in Pretty Woman. Bull Meaches to your right. Tommy Hilfiger's new place on your left-hand side. He doesn't rent this facility, he bought the property. $19.5 million worth. Expensive real estate up here. Ralph Lauren to your left, the polo store, followed first entrance, you and me. Second entrance with those guys on the ladders rack. VIP only, preferred customers. Reservation, whatever you want to call them. There's Fred's. They also refer to this one from the Pretty Woman movie. They borrowed the necklace in here, as you might remember. There's Cartier down on your left-hand side. Harry Winston's over to your right now. It's like a tennis game here. Chanel to your left. The VIP floor is on the second level here, actually. Driving around looking at the store windows instead of the streets. You gotta swing around the block here now, find parkers for us. Actually, we're going to take the opportunity right here in the corner. There's a little coffee cart up here. They're going to be about an hour before we have lunch now, so if you want something to hold you over there a little bit, kitty corner over to your left here, just a little coffee cart on the side street there. They got some good muffins and coffee and beverages up there for you. That's called Via Rodeo, that little street. I'll see you back here at the same place, my friends, at 12:25. Looks like a TV show, to be honest with you. There's not that much equipment around. Here's the improv. You can see the characters painted on the wall there to your right. That's where Robin Williams freshened up his store for you. There's Johnny Rockets to your left. I know you have them in Sydney.
The tram. Now this is Fire Station 51. We named it in honor of the fire station that you saw in the television series Emergency, a big hit series in the 1970s that starred Robert Fuller and Randolph Mantooth. Find an adventure 65 million years in the making, Jurassic Park ride. You won't want to miss it. And you know what? Once you're on it, you'll wish it were only a movie. This is going to take us down into our studio front lot, and we're going to go past many of our sound stages. Sound stages are 98% soundproof, and we can recreate almost anything that we need inside of them. Now here on the driver's side of the tram, we're going past Soundstage 12, which is one of the largest sound stages in the world. Soundstage 12 is almost continually in use. It was used for the visitor center in the film Jurassic Park, and it was in the motion picture Casper starring Christina Ricci. And Warner Brothers used Soundstage 12 for 2 of their Batman films. In Batman Returns, the soundstage was used for the Penguin's Lair, and in Batman Forever, it looks like a big open warehouse, and that we're building sets inside of that. Now, you know, for 12 years, that soundstage was used for the TV series Murder, She Wrote, starring Angela Lansbury. You'd walk inside of that soundstage, find your sign that's right next to the door. This used to be the office of Mr. Alfred Hitchcock, and Mr. Hitchcock himself did that very famous silhouette of backlot. And we're taking you into the metropolitan portion of our backlot right now. These buildings look as if they are real buildings, but they are what we call facades, false fronts. There are no actual rooms inside any of these buildings, and they are used exclusively for exterior filming. And even though they look as if they're made out of good solid materials such as brick and concrete and stone, these buildings are actually made out of foam rubber, wood, fiberglass, and other lightweight materials. The bricks, for example, they're just foam rubber and fiberglass. We do a lot of filming on these streets, though. For example, this area was used for the 1973 Academy Award-winning film The Sting, starring Robert Redford and Paul Newman. And this street was also used by Abbott and Costello for their very popular television series back in the 1950s. And I know you've been spending your day here at Universal, but you know what? The Sci-Fi Channel, I guess in appreciation of Columbus Day, anyway, they were having an entire Abbott and Costello marathon all of today. Take a peek down the driver's side of the tram. We are dismantling a city scene. Columbia Pictures was here a couple of days ago filming scenes for a new motion picture called Stuart Little. It's based on the classic children's book by E.B. White and stars Gina Davis. Now this street we call New York Street, but we can use it as any city anywhere in the world. For example, it was Chicago in The Sting. It also has been used as New York in the 1930s for the 1994 film The Shadow, starring Alec Baldwin, and also for the Paramount film The Phantom, starring Billy Zane. This was used as Minneapolis, Minnesota for the 20th Century Fox film Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. And now this bridge was built back in 1916 for a Harry Carey Western, and we have used it ever since. You know, we even used to take our trams across this bridge because you get a great view of the back lot from up here. But as you can see, the bridge has seen better days. So
Tell you what, we're not going to go across the bridge today, but we don't want you to miss out on this beautiful view. So what we're going to do instead is take the little road that goes right behind the bridge. So be sure to have your cameras ready because you are going to have a terrific view of our studio backlot from it's closed? We're going across the bridge? I don't know if this is a good idea. Okay, let's just stay seated and hold on tight, but hey, I did promise you a really nice view here on my side of the tram. We're looking to the end of our studio, in fact, to the very end of the San Fernando Valley, and if you look through the cloud cover there, you can even see the outline of I knew this wasn't a good idea. I can't look. I just hope we get the entire tram across the bridge in one piece. I really hate it when we lose guests. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Hello, fourth car. We made it. But let me tell you something about this bridge. This is not the oldest structure on the Universal lot. In fact, this bridge was built in 1975 especially for the Universal Studios tour, and it's probably the only bridge in the world that can rebuild itself once it's fallen down. There it goes. It's built on a special system of hydraulics that enable it to do that. Namely our greens department. This is where we keep all of our plants and shrubs and bushes and trees, and they're all kept in pots and on platforms so that we can take them to wherever part of the studio that we need them. You may have seen some of our plants out on New York Street. They were there for Stuart Little. Now remember, we went past Soundstage 27? You know, one of the most memorable scenes from Jurassic Park was filmed inside of that soundstage. Remember the scene where Dr. Grant and the two kids are sitting up in the big tree and the brachiosaur comes up and sneezes on them? That looks like it was filmed outside in the jungle. It was actually done inside Soundstage 27, utilizing many of the plants that you're seeing here on the driver's side of the tram. Oh, and by the way, those giant logs and boulders, they're actually made out of styrofoam and foam rubber so that we can cart them around the lot very, very easily. And now we're going to take a trip into the past. We're going to visit Bedrock, the home of the Flintstones. We have some of the actual props and sets from the 1994 film. They're on the driver's side of the tram. That's Betty and Barney Rubble's house. The Rubbles, of course, played by Rick Moranis and Rosie O'Donnell, and Fred Flintstone was played by John Goodman. There was also a special guest appearance by Elizabeth Taylor as Fred's mother-in-law, Pearl. And as we come through this electrified fence, we find ourselves in the lost world of Jurassic Park. And these are some of the actual props from the film The Lost World. They're on the driver's side of the tram, the Fleetwood RV. Remember, that was the vehicle that was dangling from the cliff. Julianne Moore had to try and get out of that. When we shot that scene, we really did have that vehicle dangling, but not off the side of a cliff. It was dangling off the side of one of our parking structures. The dinosaur bones that you're seeing were all created inside of our technical complex. And I'll tell you, I was here the day that they were moving those dinosaur bones. They put them on a flatbed truck, and then they moved them out of the technical complex and took them to the filming set. It was fun to see the people who were waiting in line to go into the world of Cinemagic. Their jaws just dropped. They're standing there, and all of a sudden this truck goes by with these dinosaur bones. It might be Marilyn Monroe, you never know. We now find ourselves on the Appian Way, as seen in the film Spartacus, but today it's not taking us to ancient Rome, it is taking us to Old Mexico, and we have a very special treat for you here today. We have technical special effects wizards who are going to show us how weather effects are created on film. Hi guys! Guys, can you show us how we do some weather effects?
Sure, folks. Hey, buddy, can you give us some thunder and lightning?
That sounds great! How about some rain to go with it?
Okay, let's add in a little rain.
And look over there on the driver's side of the tram, there's some Hollywood rain coming out of a clear blue sky. Now, be careful, don't give us too much. Remember what happened last week? Remember when we got that flood? Guys?
Freddie, Is that too much rain? I don't know if the system can handle it.
No. Okay, that's coming down pretty hard, so you might want to watch out there on the driver's side of the tram. Do you hear that rumble? Oh no. Look out, there's a flood heading right towards us. Remember what I said about you might get a little wet? Well, that was 10,000 gallons of water coming down that hill. I think most of it landed in the second car. Now the water will be recycled and will be back at the top of the hill ready for the next tram in only 15 seconds. And the rain, of course, we have sprinklers in the trees and on the rooftops that shoot the water in the air. When the water falls, it looks just like natural rain. Film. That trick was used all the way up into the early days of Technicolor film, and so the next time you're watching the MGM film Singing in the Rain and you see Gene Kelly dancing away, he's not singing in the rain, he's singing in the milk. Now this area was used by Orion Pictures Film for Three Amigos, starring Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Chevy Chase, and was also used as Bibleland USA in the film Fletch Lives, also starring Chevy Chase. And from Old Mexico, we're going to head on into the Old West. In fact, we're going to take you down John Wayne Road. Interesting thing about John Wayne Road, take a look at the doors. On the driver's side of the tram, the doors are all a little smaller than normal. But on my side of the tram, the doors are all a little larger. Why did we do that? Our cowboys used to stand in front of the smaller doors. That made the cowboys appear bigger and brawnier and more macho. And our leading ladies would stand in front of the larger doors. That made the ladies appear small and petite and dainty without having to go on a diet. It's a little Hollywood tip there, folks. Coming around the corner on my side of the tram, you can see the PT-73 from McHale's Navy. Now remember, our special effects guys are on the back lot today, and I'll tell you, they love nothing more than blowing things up. Uh-oh, look out here on my side. See what I mean? They love exploding things around here. Now take a peek over here on the driver's side of the tram, you'll see a round tank. That is our underwater filming tank. When we have an underwater scene to film, we fill that tank with water, throw the actors inside. You notice all those openings around the side. Cameraman, and director can stay nice and dry while they're filming the actors splashing about inside. We're going to take you back into our metropolitan area, and some of you may be fans of the TV series Sliders. That can be seen Monday. Sometimes we have to take the outdoors and recreate it inside of one of our sound stages. Well, we have a sound stage tucked away behind a couple of facades here that we're going to take you inside. Have your cameras ready. Strange things have been happening in here.
We're now hovering above the wreckage of a
is one major difference between our Kong and the original. You see, the original King Kong was really only 18 inches tall. I'm sure you've noticed that here at Universal we never throw anything away. For example, over here on the driver's side of the tram we have the entrance gates to the Lion Estates from the Back to the Future films. We also have a red paddle wheel over here on my side of the tram. Now this was part of a riverboat that sat in this little lake for almost 40 years. A really great looking riverboat that was built back in 1953 for a Tyrone Power film called Mississippi Gambler. If you want to see how cool that riverboat looked, if you get cable, you might want to check out an entire Pacific Ocean for the crew of McHale's Navy. See the PT-73 up there? We put a blue backdrop behind it, photograph it from the right angle. It would look just as if that PT boat were sitting in the middle of the ocean. Another little Hollywood trick. And remember, we've got those special effects wizards out here. Like I said, they love exploding things around here. And now we're in a very embarrassing situation. We've misplaced our bridge. We can't go forward. We can't really turn around either. There's no room. Well, you know what? We can do something, though. We can do what Charlton Heston did. Remember when he played Moses in the film The Ten Commandments? We can part the waters of the Red Sea, just like he did over at Paramount. I'll count to three. At the count of three, we'll do our best Charlton Heston impersonation and say, part the waters, you know, very deep voice and very seriously. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3. Part the waters. It worked. It worked. We may not have been together, but we all said it, and it worked. The waters are parting, and we're going to go right through the Red Sea. I would suggest if you have anything on the floor, you might want to pick it up. Third and fourth cars, you might even want to lift up your feet. You know, we don't want you getting wet feet, catching cold. You know, it's no fun when you're on vacation. The tram might leak a little, you know, as we go through. Have your cameras ready. You're going to have a great sea level view on both sides of our tram. Look at that, the waters are gone. So if I could have everybody take their seats, we're going to go right through the Red Sea. Third car, please sit down. Thank you. Here we go. Did get a little bit of water in the tram, but 2,000 years and visit Europe at the time of the Roman Empire as we make our way into Spartacus Square, built for the 1960 film epic Spartacus, starring Kirk Douglas and Laurence Olivier. And here we are in Spartacus Square. And there you see the steps where Laurence Olivier stood and addressed 10,000 Roman soldiers. Roman soldiers are not all that easy to find these days. As a substitute, we hired a couple of hundred California college kids and then dressed them up as Roman soldiers. But you know what? Those Legionnaire costumes are kind of skimpy and short, and we needed a lot of body makeup for all of those kids. You would think it would take hours to put that all on. In our case, it went very quickly. You see, we lined up all those kids in a row in their shorts and then spray painted the makeup right onto them. Whoosh, right on down the line. Hey, it worked. Since we're in this area, let's spend some more time in Little Europe. This area was built in 1929 for the film All Quiet on the Western Front, starring Lou Ayres and Louis Wolheim, the first Universal film to win an Academy Award as Best Picture, and one of AFI's best 100 American films ever made. And we can use this area to represent any European locale simply by changing the language on the signs. If you're a fan of the TV series Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 20th Century Fox television series, you may remember the season finale when Angel was turned into a vampire by the evil Darla. That happened right here. We were using this area as Dublin, Ireland. And on my side of the tram, you can see the Court of Miracles. You may recognize it from all the classic Universal horror films of the 20s, 30s, and 40s. Now, the courtyard was built in 1919 for the film The Miracle Man. That was the film that made Lon Chaney a star, and he did some of his best work right here at Universal, including the classics, The Phantom of the Opera and The Hunchback of Notre Dame. But all the classic Universal just ahead of us. But today, the cast and crew wrapped production early. They wanted to only work half a day because it's a kind of a half a holiday, you know. So this afternoon, we were given permission to take you through this soundstage to let you see what it looks like from the inside. It is, after all, a working soundstage. I do want to remind you all to remain seated, but take as many pictures as you'd like. You can see that we have recreated an underground subway station here, and what is really cool about this particular set, above us there is also a complete street scene as well. This is the only two-story set in Hollywood. Remember, this is California. We have these little tremors all the time. This is normal. But this might be a little stronger than normal. Everybody just stay seated. Hold on to your belongings. Everything's going to be just fine, I hope. Watch out for your cameras. That's water coming right at us. Which we call Denver Street, was here. This is the oldest street on the Universal lot. In those early days, we were making silent films. Most of them happened to be Westerns. In fact, we've been making Westerns really throughout our entire 83-year history. And throughout all of that time, this street really has not changed very much. And it's still as recognizable today as it is in such classic films as Destry Rides Again, starring James Stewart and Marlene Dietrich, Winchester 73, starring James Stewart, newfangled form of entertainment was made. 5 cents. Remember, that was 83 years ago. Now we're going to be leaving our western area, and we're going to head on up to Climate. Really nice, friendly people. One small problem. There have been some shark sightings over here on my side of the tram. But, gee, I don't know. Everything looks pretty calm and peaceful, if you ask me. Look at old George out there fishing. I don't think he'd be on that lake if there were any... You know, wait a minute. I heard about this shark. This is a really sneaky shark that does not show its fin before it attacks. Hey, George, did you hear that about this shark? If there is one in there, you're not going to see it if it attacks. You might want to get out of the water just in case. George! 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 Oh, yuck! Ew, poor old George. Well, I guess that proves it. There really is a shark in this lake. Now, we better keep our eyes open. You never know what's going to pop up next. But if we can't see that fin... Oh, look, it's attacking that yellow buoy end! Whoa, look out down below. Here it comes. That shark is a replica of the one featured in the 1975 Steven Stickling Anywhere We Need To, Inside or Out. This house is real. The other houses, which may look the same, are just shells and facades used for exterior filming only. But you may recognize many of these houses. Now I'm going to start over here on the driver's side of the tram with this corner house. That was the sorority in National Lampoon's Animal House starring John Belushi. The house next to it belonged to James Stewart in the film Harvey. He lived there with a 6'3" invisible rabbit. The gray house next to that was 1313 Mockingbird Lane, the home of the Munsters in the TV series of the 1960s, and they lived next door to the Hardy Boys, who lived in this yellow house in the TV series of the 1970s. Living next door to them were Doris Day and James Garner in the film The Thrill of It All. Funny thing about Doris Day, though, you see, she's lived in every house on this street, each time though with a different husband. That brings us into Anytown, USA. Now, we can use this to represent any small town anywhere in the United States. For example, this was Mayfield in the original television series of Leave It to Beaver, starring Jerry Mathers as the Beav. We often saw it as downtown Cabot Cove on Murder, She Wrote, and it appeared as several small towns in all sorts of different time periods in the TV series Quantum Leap. Now, this area is constantly being used for filming. We film television commercials here, television shows, motion pictures. For example, you may recognize this neighborhood from the DreamWorks film Deep Impact. This was the neighborhood where Elijah Wood lived in that film. Also on the driver's side of the tram, you can see the Cleaver House from the motion picture version of Leave It to Beaver, the film that starred Janine Turner. And just about a week and a half ago, Aaron Spelling Productions was here on this street. They were filming scenes for a new television series, a mid-season replacement called Rescue 77. Seven Gables. Vincent Price is probably best known for his work in horror films. I think it's really very appropriate that he began his film career right here at Universal, because we're pretty well known for our horror films too. In fact, one of the most famous of all horror films was done right here on the Universal lot back in the year 1960. Imagine, it's dark and raining, this is a deserted road, there's a woman driving up this road all alone. All she wants is a nice safe place to spend the night. She finds a motel with 12 rooms and 12 vacancies. Unfortunately for her, it's run by a fella named Bates, Norman Bates, and the motel sits in the shadow of a house, the house from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, the very same house that you can see on the driver's side of the tram. Now, there has been a lot of activity going up around here, around the Psycho house lately. That's because Psycho has refilmed. Yes, there is a new version of Psycho coming out this December from director Gus Van Sant. The new version stars Vince Vaughn, Anne Heche, and Julianne Moore. That area was used as Site B. That was supposed to be on an island off the coast of Costa Rica, but it was actually filmed right next door to the Psycho house. And those buildings were built to look exactly the way they look right now. They were supposed to look as if they'd been devastated by a hurricane. A hurricane, a Tyrannosaurus Rex, a couple of velociraptors. Coming around the corner on my side of the tram, you can see the largest backdrop ever built, constructed for the film Jaws the Revenge, starring Michael Caine. Backdrop and lake in front of it were used to spectacular effect in the Paramount film The Truman Show, starring Jim Carrey. Remember that great climactic used for the splashdown sequence in the film Apollo 13? And the backdrop and lake were used for the film Dante's Peak. And in fact, we are now going to take you to visit Dante's Peak. Dante's Peak is a dormant volcano. And here to tell you more about what a dormant volcano is are a couple of seismologists that are... where are our seismologists? They're supposed to be sitting right there, and well, they're usually right here, and they come up and they talk to us about dormant volcanoes, but they must be taking a late lunch. Well, that's okay. This is the really cool part. We are going to take you through a tunnel, through a mine shaft that goes right through the heart of this dormant volcano. Now, the seismologist is going to tell you what dormant means. Dormant means quiet, sleeping. There has been no activity registered from this volcano for the past 10... Why do we have smoke and lava coming out of a dormant volcano? That's it. That can't be anything. I mean, they have told us that there has been no activity coming from this volcano for the past 10,000 years. So, we're going to be just fine taking you right through the heart of this volcano. I've taken this trip several times. This really is so cool. This is so much fun going through the heart of this volcano. Why are these walls glowing? Why are these walls moving? Oh no, we are caught in the middle of a volcanic eruption and we are right in the middle of a lava flow. If you feel yourselves getting dizzy, just try closing your eyes. Episode of the TV series The $6 Million Man, and for that series, for that one episode, all Lee Majors had to do was run to the tunnel. And we had to film that scene over and over and over and over and over again because poor Lee Majors could not keep his balance while running through that tunnel. He kept falling down. We have one more beautiful view coming up for you as soon as we clear the green fence here on my side of the tram. Oh, a really nice view of our studio backlot and the San Fernando Valley beyond. And in the middle distance there, you'll see a large group of tan buildings. That's the home of our next door neighbors, Warner Brothers Studios. Now, this is the same view that E.T. the extraterrestrial had when he first came to Earth. E.T. just one of the films done here on the Universal lot, and our tram tour just one of many, many things in store for you today. Now, the lot is divided into 2 levels.
Keeping all aisleways clear.
The ice caps have melted, and the continents are deep beneath the waves. The survivors live on these floating fortresses known as atolls in this place called Waterworld. Brave explorers voyage in search of the legend of dry land, the last remaining on the planet. But the deacon, maniacal leader of a group of evil raiders called Smokers, is determined to find dry land first. He's ensured that no explorer has ever returned until now.
It's a woman! It looks like it's Helen! Return signal! Open the gate! Helen!
Hey!
Good to see you alive! Where have you been?
Feast your eyes on this! It's pure dirt! How'd you come by? I've been to Dryland!
Dryland?
Yeah!
It's just a myth!
No, it's not a myth. I've been there! It's our salvation! We can all start new lives on Dryland! We got to hurry! The deacon and his smokers are searching for me! Hey, they're coming!
Helen! He's in the tower! Hurry!
Seaplane! It's a seaplane!
Coming from the south!
Thank you, I feel the love. Tiny, we got a complaint to customer service department. You want to take care of that for me? Thank you. Look at you people. Desolate children. Poor lost souls on this floating pile of sheet metal. The provider has said, yes, so's keeping secrets and running away from me. Let's cut to the chase. Hey, how's it hanging? All right, kiddies, we're gonna play a little game here, all right? It's called the game of life. The rules are very simple. I need to know about dry land. Now, the first person that talks lives.
Leave him alone! He doesn't know anything!
Ding, 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 we have a winner. But don't worry, we have some lovely parting gifts for you. Thank you for being on the show. Show him what he's won.
No! No, he doesn't know anything! He just... All right, I'll tell you.
You will.
Yes, just bring him up, please.
All right, now we're getting someplace. What do you say we bring him up for the bonus round, boys?
What do you say?
He said bring him up!
are so spoiled, children. Ew. How'd that taste there, cousin?
Gone!
Gone? What do you mean gone?
Gone under! Under the water!
Under the water? No, no, no. Hey, take her. Shoot, you moron! Shoot! Is it the map? Come on, mate, shoot the water! Hey, where are you going? Did I say anybody can leave before the battle's over? Hey, get the girl, you idiot. We need the girl. Get him, Ron. Yeah, that's it. Not the girl, you idiot. We need the girl. It's Jim! You're fired. You're hired again. Find me a weapon that works. You're not gonna ruin my plans for dry land, you guilt-neck freak. You hear me? Freak? F-R-E-E. Find me a dictionary, will you? Hey, boss! How about this? Yeah. All right, Laughing Boy, time for the big showdown. You and me. Mono e muto. We'll find out who's the real chicken on the sea.
Excuse me.
Flag my ship! Have them blast this pile of garbage to Kingdom Come! I'll take care of the fish. What's wrong with this infernal weapon? Ah! Sorry, that was my bad. Heads up there, Ryan! Oh no, I killed Ryan. I think the only person I haven't hit today there, Mariner. Don't worry, I got a little present I made in shop class. I think you'll like it. I like to call us the pocket fisherman. Take a shower, fish boy. Stand still. Woo! Slice
rose the 4 points of the compass.
I'm like on Splash Mountain. There's a big one.
in here?
See paintings of some of our guests as they appeared in their corruptible, mortal state.
Ladies and gentlemen, step all the way through the gallery and film all the available. Ladies and gentlemen, please step all the way in. Get your press.
Almost as though you sense a disquieting metamorphosis. Is this haunted room actually stretching? Or is it your imagination? And consider this dismaying observation. This chamber has no windows and no doors. Which offers you this chilling challenge to find a way out. Of course. If you insist on lagging behind, you may not need to volunteer. And now, a carriage approaches to take you into the boundless realm of the supernatural. Take your loved ones by the hand, please, and kindly watch your step. Oh yes, and no flash pictures, please. We spirits are frightfully sensitive to bright lights. Every room has wall-to-wall creeps and hot and cold running chills. Listen. come seeking adventure in salty old pirates, eh? Sure, you've come to the proper place. But keep a weather eye open, mates, and hold on tight, with both hands if you please. There be squalls ahead, and Davy Jones waiting for them what don't obey.
If ye been hanged And monsieur, introducing the lovely ladies of the ensemble. Just like the Folie Bergère with only feathers. There's Colette. Hello, Colette. Suzette. Hello, Mimi. Gigi. Fifi. Josie.